Hello! We are doing Relocate with Lori Robin on a Saturday because I worked, yep, Teddy's gonna tell you, I worked too late last night to be able to relocate anywhere. Today we are doing Oracle Yoga. What is that? I don't know, something that came to me yesterday and we're gonna try it out. So I have pulled 4 oracle cards from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck, and we're going to do EmbodiProv yoga, which is where I incorporate yoga, oracle cards, and applied improvisation on how we're going to be experiencing this today. So this may not be a typical yoga class. I don't think anything has been typical about any of these videos, but thank you for tuning in. So we're going to pretend to discreetly scoop back over to the mat. And we are going to warm up with a few, Teddy's going to show you, cat-cows. So we're going to be dropping our hips, and as we alternate our breath, arching our backs. Oh, come here. Come this way. Thank you. And just do a few. Oh. Thank you, Bobby. Sit, baby. A few cat-cows. Just start loosening up our backs. And we can go into child's pose. Noticing how your breath wants to flow. Up to tabletop, so flat back. Now we're going to find as many movements as possible to get down slowly. Teddy, come here. Come here. Thank you, good boy. So we are going to put our forearms down, slide our legs out, lower ourselves slowly to the mat. Teddy is, you can't see him, he's demonstrating, he did a great job. And from here, our first pose is going to be shark pose. So you're going to go ahead and lay down, have your arms at your side so your palms are facing up, and you're going to keep your feet together, raise your legs, raise your chest, and have your arms up in fists. So now you're a shark and you have fins. Hold this for a few breaths. You can release. Taking a few deep breaths. Back into shark pose. What you're going to do is continue to go from shark pose to resting, back to shark pose, to resting at a rate that works for you, and following your own breathing. And while you're in this pose, spend some time reflecting on what feels like it's encircling you right now. This could be something in your more recent life, something that's sort of always been there, just beyond your conscious thoughts. And once you have something in mind that feels like it's been encircling you, or something that's just lurking just beyond your reach, spend a few breaths wondering how you can yes and it. How can you validate that it is there, and also explore a way that you can process that, or sit with it, or maybe take action. can go back into shark pose for one last cycle. This time you can find some movement if you want, like you're swimming in the EAC. If you don't know that, go watch Finding Nemo. Alright, back down to rest. And now we can go into alligator for recovery. This isn't one of the cards, but if you want to put your hands under your cheek. Switch hands and the other cheek. Head to center. From here, we're going to place our hands underneath our shoulders. Teddy's by me. Underneath our shoulders. You can have your forearms down flat if you want. From here, we're going to raise ourselves up to down dog for a few moments, a few breaths. Right now, Teddy's showing you his butt, and he's a dog, so that's close. Pop, come here. Good boy. Then we're going to raise up to tabletop. Get a puppy kiss if that's, thank you, an option. From here, we're going to walk our hands. Pop, come over here, baby. Thank you. Hands to our legs. And go into a kneeled position. If you can't do this, you can also sit crisscross applesauce for this, or sit in a chair is another option. So, once we're in this kneeled position, you're going to imagine having your hands back towards your heels. You don't have to go all the way towards actually touching them. That might be out of your range of motion. But just have your hands behind your back and find any amount of a bend in your back. So that way your chest and your throat, so your heart and your throat, are looking slightly upwards towards the heavens. Take a few deep breaths. Notice if you can find any relaxation in your shoulders, what it might feel like if you place your hands further behind you. And while in this pose, we're going to be going through the journey of the nightingale, a small bird that's known for its beautiful song. If at any point you need to come out, you can go back into a child's pose if you need to for a few seconds. And then as you feel able, you can come right back in to being the nightingale who's going to be singing their song. I invite you to take some time to think about, what truth do you feel like you need to share? Or perhaps, when was the last time that you sang your own praise? And if you can't think of one big truth, perhaps there are a series of smaller truths that you can breathe into. And let them A to C out, which means that you can just think of free associated words. So I might think of truth, speak, discover, share, dream, impact. And that might be the few words that come out for me. Imagining that there's a bridge of light coming from your heart and your throat out into the space in front of you. Send the next few breaths out through that light beam as the very first brave step in sharing out your desires and truth. You can soften down into child's pose for a few restorative breaths. And from here, we're going to slowly walk our hands up, slide to our sides on our butts. And going as slowly as you can, we're going to find a position on our backs. And we're going to become a starfish. So if you've ever made a snow angel, you can have your hands out wide, your legs apart, or any lay down position. No, Teddy. Lay down. Sit. And we're going to be starfish for a few moments. Sit, Poppy. Sit. I'm going to take my hair clip out because it hurts. So you are now a starfish. Poppy, lay down. Poppy, over here. I'm going to invite Teddy to just starfish with me for a second. A little back stretch. I now invite you to reflect on some of the dreams or hopes or beliefs that you had that you may have really lost sight of. Perhaps you've been living life based on others' expectations for how you should be living. Ooh, the thunder's rolling, so maybe that's a question we really need to ask ourselves right now. So how have you distanced yourself from your dreams? How have you been trying to please people so they don't think of you in a certain way that feels uncomfortable to you? Oh, honey's coming in. Starfish rely on their beauty or how mesmerizing they can be, but oftentimes that means that they take on a performative role. So you could also ask yourself, how have you been relying on appearances to really cover up those deeper truths? And how might, he said hello. How might we invite ourselves to think of being able to build our dreams from our relationship with ourselves so that way we don't have to invent a new way of being from scratch? So how can you build a relationship with yourself where you, your dreams, and your needs are a priority? Thank you. After your next deep inhale and exhale, we're going to exhale, knees to chest. We're going to give ourselves a brief hug. And find it and invite any movement that you might want. You can roll side to side, maybe in a circle. We're gonna slowly release our feet down to the mat. Bob, come here. Thank you. Feet down to the mat. We're going to turn to our side slowly. You can put your arm under your head if that helps. Teddy's gonna show us how to not social distance. And then slowly just roll over to your stomach. You're gonna go lower on the mat, so I'm gonna. And we're gonna spend the remaining time of our practice as stingrays. And so we're going to use cobra pose as our stingray pose. So our hands are going to be under our shoulders. And we're going to alternate from being up in cobra and imagining that we're stingrays. We're going to have our feet together and the tops of our feet on the floor. And we're going to lift up into being a stingray. And really focus your breath for the first few breaths on how that makes your spine feel. And imagine your spine continues through your legs and you have a barb. And you can come out of that as you need. And then go back up to stingray. Release. And now I invite you to imagine what would having the courage to believe in yourself feel like today. How would it feel to be confident in your sense of self today? How can you have your own back today, tomorrow, this week, so that way you do believe in yourself, even just a bit more than you did before this practice? How could you have your own back? One more cycle for a stingray. Really imagining you're elongating your spine. You're building that self-confidence, that belief in your dreams. If you can, find any more movement, going deeper into stingray. And release down into crocodile, where we're going to rest on our hands. Rotate hands and cheek. Head back to center. And have our hands beside our bodies under our shoulders, and we're going to lift back into downward dog. Teddy's doing a great job showing you how to sit like a beautiful puppy. And if there's anything else, any thoughts that came up about what was encircling you as a shark, what song of praise you want to sing for yourself as a nightingale, how you've been pleasing others instead of prioritizing yourself as a starfish, or really wanting to develop a sense of self and self-confidence as a stingray. If there's anything else that your body's asking you for, I invite you to take that movement now then once you're completed with honoring those needs, we're going to finish with a few cat-cows at your own pace, just as we started our practice. Body's asking for some side lunges, so I'm going to do that and sit back into them slightly. If this does not feel like what your body wants, you can continue cat-cowing, finish your practice, go into down dog, child's pose, anything that is what your body would like to do. We're going to switch to the other side. So today what we did for relocating with Lori Robin, excuse me, I had hiccup, was try out a new Oracle applied improvisation yoga practice called EmbodiProv. If you have any feedback or if anything was interesting or unbearable or thought-provoking, go ahead and let me know. This is something that I feel really connected to, so I'm just interested to see how it lands for others. I want to thank you for having this practice today, and I hope that you have a razzle-dazzle day.